It's Wolf, and I have another file exploration experiment video kind of for you guys, except for I know that this already works because I've already done it before. So today I'm gonna go ahead and put a cutscene from Alan Wake into Max Payne 3, and then the cutscene is going to play in Max Payne 3 even though it's from Alan Wake. Now, this is actually pretty straightforward when you think about it, because both games use Bink to compress videos, and Bink is like a video compression software that is really common in a whole bunch of video games. I know that I've seen it all over the place, especially on like PS3 and Xbox 360 era games, which both of these games are. Also, quick note, I was gonna maybe make a separate video about this, but I didn't. But just Alan Wake on PC comes with a ton of extras. It comes with like a PDF of that Alan Wake Files book, a bunch of like bonus videos of like trailers and stuff from early development and everything. It's really interesting. But anyway, so I'm gonna take a cutscene from Alan Wake and put it into Max Payne 3. It's really simple because all I need to do is pretty much just swap the files over. But first, I just want to show you guys the cutscenes that I'm going to swap playing in their respective games. So I'm going to swap the cutscenes that are like the openings of each game pretty much, just because like the first ones that play. So first, let's go ahead and just hop into Alan Wake really quick. By the way, the game's only going to run at like 5 FPS probably, because my computer does not like playing games while recording, but don't worry about that. So long as we can see the gameplay, you guys will get the point. So yeah, maybe you guys will even be able to hear the fans on my computer like ramp way up. Alright, so if we go ahead and we hit new game, and just easy because we're not even going to actually play. So this is the cutscene that plays right when you start Alan Wake. Also, interesting thing, note Alan Wake's talking right now. Just keep that in mind for when we swap the cutscene over, because something interesting happens with that. But as you guys can see, you know, view of the mountains and everything, that's what plays when you start Alan Wake up. And then there's the beginning level of the game, so we're going to quit out of Alan Wake. And Max Payne 3 might take a little bit longer to load. Max Payne 3 is not necessarily a slower game, but I think just on my computer. So hop over to Max Payne 3, wait a couple seconds for my computer to like catch itself. Alright, there we go. So now we're going to load into Max Payne 3 and start the intro cutscene here. And you guys will see it's obviously a different intro cutscene because it's a different game. Also, sorry about the Steam game requires multiple product codes. This is like the ultimate edition of Max Payne 3, so that pops up like every time I start the game. I think there's a way to turn it off, but there's like, usually I just shift tab it and exit out, but since I'm recording, although I guess the product keys are invalid anyway, probably, but nonetheless. Okay, now we're on the main menu finally. So if we go into story, just hit new, we'll see the intro cutscene to Max Payne 3. Did I choose a difficulty? There we go. So this is the intro cutscene to Max Payne 3. It's Max coming home to his apartment and, you know, being all sad and stuff. One thing I want to note is when I click, you'll see, sorry if you guys can't hear me over Max, but you'll see the still loading symbol as I click because it's not ready to load yet. Keep that in mind. Another thing to keep in mind for when I put the Alan Wake cutscene in, because that will still pop up over the Alan Wake cutscene, which kind of proves that it's in Max Payne 3. So I'll go ahead and cut ahead to where I actually do the swap, because this is going to take a while for me to get past, because now I gotta wait for this cutscene to load before I can actually exit out of the game. Okay, now here we are back on the desktop again after it took forever for Max Payne 3 to load the cutscene far enough for me to exit out of it. But anyway, yeah, so those were the two intro cutscenes for Alan Wake and Max Payne 3. So now, in order to swap those, we are going to go ahead and head into videos on each game. So in Alan Wake, this is where the videos are stored, and in Max Payne 3, they're stored under movies. As you guys can see, they're all BIK files, which are Bink compressed video files. My Shotcut icon is next to them because Shotcut can actually kind of open these videos, and it can kind of open them, but it doesn't have like a fun time with it, so you know, it doesn't work the best. But FE intro is the intro to Max Payne 3, so let me just open that. Like I said, Shotcut won't be able to open it like very far, but you guys will be able to tell that it's the same video. So Give a little bit for for this to load also. Okay, so I as you guys can see, I probably skipped ahead right to load it into the game, but this is also, the audio sounds very weird this way, so go ahead and just like do that real quick. So yeah, you can't hear it anymore. But yeah, so as you guys can see, this was the intro cutscene for Max Payne 3. Doesn't load that well in a shortcut, but it allows us to see what it was. And then we're going to go ahead over here, and I believe that just the very first cine thing is the intro for Alan Wake. Yeah, so as you guys can see, let me just go ahead and, okay, the volume's already all the way down. As you guys can see, this is the intro that we saw for Alan Wake with the mountains and everything and all that stuff. And then at the end, I believe you can see the car, although it's gonna take forever to load. That's not important. You guys can see that it's that cutscene, the one we watched from Alan Wake earlier. Now we wait for shortcut to close and or crash. There we go. Okay. Now the next step is to put this file into here. So to do that, we're actually going to do it like kind of safe so that way we don't lose anything. So we're going to copy and paste it to the desktop. So now we have a copy of it. This is the Alan Wake intro. Now we're going to rename this FE Scene, or not FE Scene, FE intro. Well, actually, no, we're going to name it FE intro underline, and then we're going to drag this into here, put it into here, refresh so that way it pops up there, and then we're going to copy and paste this so we can put it back in later on, so that way the game doesn't be stuck with the Alan Wake intro. Give that a second so that afterwards, like I said, we can just copy and paste that back into here and fix it. Now we're going to go ahead and delete this and rename this once again, take off that last little underline, and as you can see, that means that the intro from Alan Wake is now what Max Payne 3 thinks is the intro to Max Payne 3. So when the game loads up again, the game is going to be looking for, like when you start the game, it's going to say, okay, I'm supposed to play the file FE underline intro or underscore intro right now. And so when it looks for that, it's going to find FE intro. But the actual video is now Alan Wake's intro, just renamed so that way Max Payne 3 can find it. So now we're going to go ahead and load Max Payne 3 up once again. Alright, we're back on the loading intro area for Max Payne 3. Probably would have worked better if I put a Max Payne 3 cutscene into Alan Wake, because Alan Wake loads way faster, but anyway, this is just the way that I know it works. It probably works the other way too, which I should test at some point, but yeah. Okay, here we are, back again on the Max Payne 3 main menu. So, we're going to go to Story, we're going to hit New, and watch what happens. Oh wait, hang on, there we go. And instead of the Max Payne intro, we now have the Alan Wake intro. And as you guys can see, when I click, we still have the still loading thing from Max Payne 3. So it is, in fact, in Max Payne 3. And another thing you'll notice is that we don't hear Alan's voiceover, and neither do we hear Max's voiceover. So I think that kind of indicates something interesting about the way that both games like store files or whatever, because I'm pretty sure that means Alan Wake's voiceover audio is stored somewhere other than in the video file, but Max Payne 3's like voiceovers are in the video file, which is interesting, but anyway, that's beside the point. But yeah, so Alan Wake's intro in Max Payne 3. So yeah, and then once this finishes playing, it'll load into that. Like there's like kind of two cutscenes back to back in the Max Payne 3 intro, so it'll load right into the next one that kind of like is Max's flashbacks and flash forwards and everything. So that'll happen after this cutscene is over with, if it works properly. Might just fade to black for a little bit because this cutscene is shorter than the first one in Max Payne, so if it hasn't fully loaded, it might just like stay on a loading screen for a little bit. And then afterwards, I'll also show you guys how to change the files back so that way it fixes it. And I'll talk about some other cool ideas that I have in relation to this. So as you guys could just see, it just jumped right from the end of the Alan Wake cutscene right into the second Max Payne 3 intro cutscene. So at this point, I'm going to cut back to where I'm on the desktop, so that way you guys don't have to sit through the rest of the, not Alan Wake, the rest of the Max Payne 3 intro, because this is going to take another like 3 minutes for this all to load in far enough for me to skip. Okay, now we are back on the desktop. As you can see, my computer is like, there we go. Now it knows we're not playing Max Payne 3 anymore. Okay, so yeah, that works. Now I'm going to show you guys how to go ahead and put the original file back into Max Payne, and also talk about some interesting ideas I have relating to this and other things that this just kind of like, you know, interesting notes and stuff. So for one, like I said, I saved the original Max Payne 3 intro cutscene onto the desktop here. So what we're going to do is we're not going to close Alan Wake yet because we're still going to look at that a little bit more. But we're going to go ahead and pretty much just delete the FE intro that we have in there, which is the Alan Wake one, and then drag the original one back into here, and there we go. That is back in the right place again. So now when I launch Max Payne 3 again, the original intro cutscene should be there. Now, one thing I think is really important to note, I would not suggest playing multiplayer if you've done this, because even though it doesn't actually affect the game gameplay-wise at all, it means that like your files have been modified, and I don't know for sure, but I think Steam might like detect that and like kick you off, even if it's not anything that actually, like, it's not actually cheating, but your files have been changed in some way. So I would not suggest playing Max Payne 3 multiplayer while your files are changed. So something interesting to consider in Alan Wake, as you guys can see, almost all the cutscenes are Bink files. Max Payne 3 has a lot more like rendered in-game cutscenes. But the interesting thing is that there's a bunch of both games and other games. Both games here, though, in particular, use Bink files for videos that play on like TVs that the characters can interact with. So, in other words, I want to see in the future if I can replace videos that play on the TVs in the games with other videos and make it look like the characters are like watching other videos on the TVs. So that's interesting. And so really just anywhere that you see a video that's a Bink file, you can replace with another Bink file, at least so far as it seems. I haven't done a lot of testing with this. And lastly, the other note that is interesting about all of this is the fact that Bink files are actually really easy to make, because even though you need a specific program to do that, you need the Rad Game Tools. The Rad Game Tools website actually has all of their software available for free for you to try out. I think their business model seems more to be like, if you're going to use it for like a commercial project, then you have to license it, but just to like kind of experiment with on your own, they have it free for usage. So you can download the Bink video files compression program in the Rad Game Tools and compress pretty much any video file into a Bink format, which would allow you to then replace these video files with stuff that isn't just from other games, but any video that would be compressed with Bink. So in other words, I just want to make this video to show that it's a really interesting thing that I found out, and I might play around with it in the future some more. So hope you guys enjoyed watching. I'll see you in future videos, and bye-bye.